exercise, maybe walking through the fields, or maybe you spend a lot of time in the car, I don't know. But I'm sure we are ready to have more discussions today and more interactions. Before we start, as usual, we will open this session with a word of prayer, and I would like to have a volunteer to open the session. Any volunteer, please? Thank you, madam. On Monday, what we saw yesterday, and what we're going to hear today. So it's more of learning and sharing and looking at what kind of innovation can we take forward to push the agroecology agenda forward in transforming food systems for Malawi. So today, the lineup is, I could say, a bit lighter than it was on Tuesday. So just trying to create hope there, yeah. And very exciting session. In the first session, we will have the recap, summaries from the past 2 days. The summaries which will be presented on day 1, and then the summaries from yesterday. And I'm sure the team that will be providing the summaries, just get prepared for that, because you are the one who are going to start the session this morning. After that, we're going to have a presentation that is going to focus on policy. So there was a lot talk about policy on Tuesday, and I'm sure from the field, you might have had questions in terms of how can policy support what you saw yesterday. So we have a presentation that is focusing on policy. And you have a role to play in this presentation, because we have some kind of group discussions that will take place. That will take us to the health break. After the health break, we have a different session again. This time we'll be having a panel discussion. So we have different representatives from different stakeholders who have a discussion around agroecology to take on some of the issues that we have identified in this meeting. That panel will take us up to lunch. And then we come for our final session, which will be the plenary to synthesize everything that we've been discussing since Tuesday, and possibly drawing some call to action. And that will be the end of our session for today. So this is what is lined up for today. So we are starting with the recap. Are you the one? Okay. So we're starting with the recap. Precious and team. All right. So if you could come. So the recap are categorized in terms of Tuesday, and then we move on to group leaders who were with the teams that went to the field yesterday. So please be on time. Make sure you keep summaries. These are summaries, not full presentations. So you give us summaries of what are the key things that you identified from day one and then from the field. All right, so who's taking us for day one? You want to speak? Yeah, come here. Just bring it here. So if you're using presentations, just have your presentations ready so that we can keep time. Yeah. Are all summaries on one laptop? Okay. All right.
Good morning. The first day, but also I will share a brief of our field visit to the site where I was leading. So briefly, day one, we had a similar session and it was interactive and engaging. So in a summary, we had remarks from organizers, but also the guest of honor. So in terms of the presentations,
Mutati mwonesese muli ma microphone for the microphone tables for translation. These ones are for those that do not understand English or vice versa.
also had a recap of the previous conference for last year, and from there we had presentations. So we had about 4 presentations. Number one on domestication of the fertilizers and soil health, which was presented by our friends from Mapata. We also had a presentation on strengthening farmer safety systems, and there was also another one to do with managing fall army worms that was presented by GIZ. There was also a kind of information sharing or knowledge sharing from one of the farmers led by Lucy Alfandika. So the key points from the presentations and the discussions on the first day were to do with policy alignment, and that was largely to do with highlighting agroecological products and the practices in our policies. There was a mention of the action plan. I think we were to see agroecological elements being embedded in the same as also part of improving soil health. The other key point was to do with standardization, and this was to do with ensuring maybe that we have standards for the organic products, but also the seed quality. There's also highlight on evidence and evidence, and largely this was to do with the research advocacy. So we need to have evidence-based information. If we say, okay, this is an innovation, this is the research we have. But also there's a highlight on innovations. We saw some innovations that our friends have been putting to use. Another one was to do with a capacity building element, especially on the farm practices, but also extension services. So from day one, these were the key issues that we highlighted. And coming to day 2, we all went to field visits, and what I'm presenting here is for the team C, which went to Madisi at Opulence. So in brief, at Opulence, we were able to see the farmyard, which was established in 2020, and agroecological farm, which is about 16 acres. And there we saw that there is agroecology and permaculture practices in use, largely with the aim of trying to ensure that there is food security and also nutrition improvement. So what we saw there was number one, integrated farming. We were able to see crops, other plants, trees, but also animals, beekeeping. We were also able to see water sources. So there are some innovative water sources like the solar-powered water pumps, but there is also a natural dam at the site. We were also able to see the nurseries, some of them quite innovative, and I think my team here can also add when we are discussing. We were also able to see manure composting, quite diverse and innovative as well. More than one type of manure, but also more than one way of making that kind of manure. We also were able to see some sustainable toilets that are also quite innovative, and I think quite interesting. So the other highlight was to do with how Opulence has been leveraging on outreach, especially to reach out to smallholder farmers with capacity building and trainings. And we were able to appreciate that over 200 farmers, these are smallholder farmers, are able to actually replicate what Opulence is training them. And some lead farmers who happen to be graduates from Opulence have also turned into kind of trainers who are also training others, and that's also kind of an element on outreach, which is also quite interesting. We were also able to see a seed bank that the community has established, and there are quite a number of seeds there. So these are some of the highlights from yesterday's field visit at Opulence in Madisi. Thank you.
Okay, so just in proceeding, I was involved in Team A. So in Team A, we went to first visit 2 visits. So the first was the Freedom Garden, where we went there to appreciate what agroecological interventions they are into. So first, we saw the type of irrigation. Then they involved in farm and the sprinkler irrigations. Again, they're also into agroforestry. They're also doing local materials on fertilizer. They are also into intercropping, where they're also doing integration of crops and the animals. Now, in terms of outreach, they have 2 ways. One, they focus on training the local communities on intervention that are working. For example, they singled out and practical examples were demonstrated where we saw a young man demonstrating how to make a manure, the compost manure, and also the villager how to make those manure. And a lot of testimonies were highlighted, but that they also highlighted some challenges. And one of the most alarming challenges, they're saying water sources now they are becoming scarce due to sand mining. So the local communities now they're into sand mining, which is the crucial challenge that they are facing. I think these are some of the like I say about the Conde Freedom Park. The followed to CO2, TH Motu in Cambo. So this one is under a scope project. We are on Agroecology, farming again, where we appreciated the way they have transformed the area from where people were just moving the pigs. Now they made that to be developed land, and they demonstrated, show us different pictures at that point, and now where they are. So they have wait for a trees now, so they're still proceeding in those interventions. So that's what I can say what I appreciated.
Right, Jawa, a summary of Team B. Team B, when we village headman Kampa, and within the extension area of Ponera. That's where CARICOM and NCADCA are doing the project, and currently they are working with 1,500 farmers in 2 districts of Chisi and Doa, where 750 in Chisi and 750 in Doa, and they also have 150 chairman farmers. There we witnessed the issues with how they are taking care of their seeds, how they are doing this, but also witnessed the sustainability issue, as well as food systems and issues to do with evidence-based agroecology, because some think agroecology is not a to go, but we found out with witness that agroecology indeed is the way to go forward. We were even at a very much time, but then all I would say, my friends who want to be, I think during sessions we also raise as some points as evidence to witness. But those are the points issues to sustainability, agroecology, food storage, as well as food systems. Thank you.
All right, so those are the decisions we have engaged. I don't think you'll be getting any questions. So just give a hand to them. So on the tables that we're sitting, as we are preparing for the next presentation, which will be looking at policy. I've seen Sakambe is in. He'll be giving us that presentation. I just want to hear from the from the table. What is it that you must yesterday? Let's focus on the field work. What has you most? Something to move you, or something that you want to share and it's burning in you. We don't want to hold you with that. Anything else? Anyone who want to share? Excuse me. Yes, there's a hand here.
Ine nali mmodzi mwa anthu amene tinapita ku group C. Chindisangalatsa kumeneko ndi nkhani ya manyowa. Chandigwedeza kwambiri chifukwa kuti panyumba pali makhandi ana asukulu amene timagwisa ntchito matoilet okumba. Pakuti ndagwisa ntchito matoilet amene akoko ziko zonthandiza manyowa kwambiri foti ndikuti ndimanonga manyowa kuti ndagwisa chiminda mumanga manyowa ena achidule achanikale ipo kuti choyamba changa ndikukumba chimbudzi ngati chimene chona kumene ndiko ndizikolola manyowa. Chachiwiri chimene ndisangalatsa kwambiri ndikagawidwe famulo kuigawa paliponse ndikumapindula paliponse moteteza chilengedwe. Mezo zandisangalatsa chifanira kuti mitengo ndikafesa mitengo ija pomathirira kapeza kutsumira mwina wa Jomba madzi aja ndiye kuti pauma mawa pomazathirira mitengo ena imakhabe kudzuka kumene makhadi kufota. Komano mmene anachita iwowo iya plastic ndikuthira madzi unatokhapo 3-4 days ndizachidule kuti khozo magwira ntchito zina madzi apa pakugwisa ntchito komano madzi aja akupha ndikuthira bwena ina yonso chandisangalatsa kwambiri. Kuonjezera pamene popo nkhani ya manyowa kuli manyowa mitundu ndi mitundu uchita usankha wekha kwa manyowa amene andisangalatsa ndamu drum amene ndanyamula.
So manyowa amitundu